So today I thought I would film a Christmassy video as it's almost Christmas. So I thought, well, there's nothing more Christmassy than doing a bit of baking. So I thought I would make some Christmas cupcakes. So I've already done all of the boring stuff like locate all of my ingredients and preheat the oven, and I'm going to start. The ingredients I'm going to be using today are 115 grams of butter, 115 grams of golden caster sugar, 115 grams of self-raising flour, 2 medium eggs, and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, with a little sprinkling of baking powder and a dash of milk. The first thing I'm going to do is mix the butter and the sugar together with an electric hand mixer. That was more vigorous than I was expecting. Inside, watching the snow as it falls. The next thing to do is to beat the eggs into the sugar and the butter. Before I beat the eggs in, I'm just going to crack them into a mug and have a go at beating them. I had a dream for Christmas. So once you've finished adding the eggs, what you should have should look a little bit more like a conventional cake batter. And now comes the really fun part, which is to add the flour, the cocoa powder and the baking powder. So I found with this recipe that even though you're using the self-raising flour, it doesn't really tend to rise very well. So I'm just adding half a teaspoon of baking powder to just give it that extra puff. So once you've got all of your ingredients in the bowl, you just need to give it a good old fold. Don't do it too vigorously or you'll knock all the air out. Yes, I'll be yours. So once you've done that, the mixture may still be a little stiff, so you can add a couple of tablespoons of milk just to give it a more runny consistency before it goes in the oven. You only want a small amount of milk, because if you add too much it'll be too runny. So about 2 tablespoons. The last thing you need to do before you put them in the oven is to decant them into the muffin cases. This recipe makes about 12. You be beside me, dear, holding hands, missile kisses. So now I'm just going to put these in the oven. Obviously, please be careful when you're handling hot ovens and stuff because you don't want to get burnt. So I would say get a responsible adult to help you, but I'm not really setting a particularly good example. So the cupcakes have just come out the oven and I have to say they smell lovely. So I place them on this cooling rack so that they cool and don't get soggy. And in the meantime, I'm going to make decorations for them. So to begin with, I'm going to create the stars to go on top of the Christmas trees. And I'm using this modelling paste. So what I'm going to do is just roll out this and then cut it into star shapes using this tiny little star cutter. So here I have some edible glitter, and what I'm going to do is dip each of the tiny little stars into the glitter. Then we have 12 little glittery stars for the tops of our Christmas trees. Before I assemble the trees, I need to create the buttercream that will form the green bit of the tree. I'm going to use 150 grams of unsalted butter and about 250 grams of icing sugar. Here I have the butter for the buttercream. All I need to do now is weigh out the icing sugar. What I'm going to do now is just whisk up this butter so it's nice and soft before we put in the icing sugar. So I've just whisked up the butter so it's a little bit more pale, and then I'm going to add the icing sugar to this. You be beside me. Normally I wouldn't add too much of the food colouring, but as I want it to be the shade of a Christmas tree, I need to add quite a lot to get that deep Christmas tree colour. So this is the darkest colour I can probably get with the liquid food colouring. What I've done is put some of the icing into a piping bag with a large star nozzle on it, and I'm just going to pipe that onto the cupcakes. Lastly, we're going to put the finishing touches onto our trees. You can see I've piped the top on here, and I'm just going to add a few of these little gold balls and then a star on top to make it look like a Christmas tree. I've just put the star on there and it is now finished. So I've reached the end of my video now. Before I go, I'd just like to say that the music that has been playing underneath my video is a lovely song called This Christmas by Gary C, who is a British YouTuber and also a singer and songwriter, which features Dave Giles, who is also a British YouTuber, singer and songwriter. And Gary said that anyone can use the music for a Christmas related video, and I really wanted to use it, so this is why the video has happened. I will leave a link to Gary's song in the description and also at the end card. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week. Bye bye!